Okay, good morning. So I hope everyone practiced string methods. So we discussed the difference between function and method in the last session. And we understood strings concept in detail, how to define a string, the difference between single quoted string and double quoted string. And also we discussed slicing concept, how to access characters from the string using with index or using with reverse index. And then we discussed that like string methods using with the DAR of str, how to check and then how to use those methods. Okay, the next concept list here. So generally, see, we have arrays concept in programming languages. So what is array? An array means here. Generally in programming languages, array is a collection of similar data. So that means if I want to define some multiple values in a variable, so generally it should be same values like int something a of 3 equal to 10 comma 20 comma 30. This is how we define in programming languages. Data type, then array name of size, how many values, 3 values should be similar data type. Originally we call it as a homogeneous data type, right? But in Python, see, we can also do the same style, but that is not directly here. There is a module called NumPy. So using with NumPy, you can create the programming languages, how we use like arrays, the same kind of thing you can create. But here, the concept is like a list, which is actually, see, we call it as a collections. So we have a collection data types like collections, we can say. So one is a list and the other one is tuple, or we also call it as a tuple. And then we have a dictionary and then we have a set. So these are collection types or data structure. Generally we call it as the basic type. So list is actually what is list here in Python. So this is something we can also call indexed array. So everything index base. So list is a collection of any data type. Okay, it can be an integer value, it can be a float, it can be a combination of anything, string or boolean or whatever. So it's not collection of similar data here in Python. It can be anything. Okay, but how we define this? So list we can define. Okay, we can define between square bracket with comma separated values. So example, I'm just writing my underscore list. Any name you can write. I'm just writing like this, my underscore list equal to, then square bracket, then the values 10, comma 20, 30, 40. As I told, it can be any data type. I'm just writing Python 3.5. So there is no rule you need to write all combination. Anything you can write. Maybe only integer values if you want, okay, you can write, or combination of anything like this. So this is how we define a list in Python. So what is the use of list? A collection of values. Like if you want to write multiple values, let's say, for example, I want to define all the student names in one variable. So you can write student names, student underscore names. Then you can write, let's say, Siri, Bob, something like John, like this you can write. Or you want to something define all vegetables list. Then again, what list? You can write it. Or I want to write something all programming languages list. So the name itself, we are always using list. So something list of values, a list of items. If you want to define in variable, we can define between a square bracket with a comma separated value. So that generally we call it as a list here. You can also write a empty list. It's okay. Square bracket, if you write just it treats like an empty list. Even one value you can define here. Let's say now, for example, so wage list 1, for example. So here, any one item I want to write. Let's say, for example, item 1 is fine. But if you are writing multiple, more than one value, then comma separated. But if you want to define only one value in the list also, you can define. But still it is a list only. The reason is we are actually using square bracket. So empty list, in the list we have only one value. In the list we have multiple values. So how it accepts even one value as a list? Because list is immutable. List is immutable. That means what? Mutable means we can modify the data. So since this object is a mutable object, even if you define at this moment one value, maybe later can add multiple values. So that is the reason. It's a mutable so that you can define even one value as a list. That's possible. So list is mutable. You can modify the data with the same reference object, right? And list is iterable. That means what? You can also apply for loop to print or to display the values one by one. So let me just copy here. And then I'm trying to write here new script file. So there is a my list, print my underscore list. Okay. Save it and run. Now you can see the output here 10, 20, 30, 40, Python 3. But how we can print one by one for loop for I in my list? Print I. Now we can check here the values it is printing 10, 20, 30, 40, Python 3. One by one it is printing. But if you want to access only specific values, in the last session we discussed that like we can use index, right? So we can access any value here. It's not character, right? It's a value. So we can access any value or any item from the list using with index or reverse index. So index starts with 0. Reverse index, it is a negative index like -1, right? Now see, I want to access only one value from here. So this is my list now. I want to print only Python. So print my underscore list of -2. What it prints? Only Python it prints. Print my underscore list of 0. Only 10 it prints. See, first one Python, second one 10. So here, this is a mutable. So mutable means what? We can modify the data in the same reference object. Let me first check what is the type of this my list. Also, I want to check here what is the reference object. And then I'm just writing something output separator. Now, see the output here. So, -2 value here, Python. Then coming to the 0, it's a 10. And the type is list. And there is the reference object. Now, let me modify something. For example, 10, the value 10, I want to replace with 100. So, my underscore list of 0 equal to 100. That's it. So, 0 index, I'm replacing with what? 100. And let me check this all now. So means what I'm checking 0 whether it replaced to 10 with 100. And also I'm trying to print the complete list. And I'm checking type and also I'm checking ID. So even if you replace the value, the reference should not change, right? So if you observe now, there is a list here. First, the reference is this 90976. So 10 replaced with 100. Still it is a list. And you can see the same reference. So the value replaced with new value, but address not changed, means object not changed. It is same. So that is the reason here list is immutable. Getting my point? So just type see if it is clear. So slicing also you can use here. So print my underscore list, and then I want to print from 0 colon 0, 1, 2, 3. So means 0, 1, 2, 3. So means what? 4. Why it is 4? Last one it always excludes. So 10, 20, 30, 40 it is printed. Assume from this range, I want to print every second value. Then you can use 2. See, only 10 and 30 it is printing. Every second value. So we understood how to access single value, how to access multiple values, also how to replace, how to define a list, this all. But here again, same thing like string. Let's say, for example, my list of something 20, if I write, the index number 20 is not there. So index error list out of range. So what is the solution? First of always, we should get the length. So print length of this, length of my underscore list. If length is 6, then indexes you can use only 0 to 5. So that we should aware of it. Okay. And now coming to the list methods. How to get list methods? Just type dir of list in the interactive mode. Or maybe you think every time I am just trying to open command prompt, can we get directly from here? Yes, of course you can get here also. Just type print dir of list. So it will give you list methods here. So ignore these underscores and then check the remaining. So these are the list methods. So how to check list methods? Print dir of list. So this all again, see, for advanced concepts, this all it is required, whatever we are covering now. Now we'll try to understand these methods. So what is append? So append we are using to add a single value at end of the list. Append we are using to add single value. So let's try to understand with examples. See now, for example here. Okay, I'm just creating my list. Equal to. So 11, 22, 33, 44, 55 and 66. Some values I am defining my list. So the first method is append. What is append? First, let me print here my list. And then let me print my underscore list, ID of my underscore list. That is a reference object. And then I'm also printing some output separation. And then I'm trying to apply the method. So method syntax we discussed, variable name dot method name. So my list dot. So when you type dot, see the advantage with this PyCharm ID. So it is giving all the, when you type dot, it is giving all dot methods. So now you can see it is a method. So when I type here something len, you can see this is a function. F means function. And when we type something list like this, so this is something class C. And there is a V, which is a variable we already defined, my underscore list. So something you can understand here. When we type something my list dot, it is giving this all methods. So I want to use append of what new value, for example, 100 I'm trying to add. But whenever if you are using append always it will add the value at end of the list. Append means at the end. Now let me run here. Now first you can see 11 to 66 and then 100 it appended at end. But reference still it is same. So can we append multiple values? That is not possible with append method. Let's say if I write again one more 200, it's not possible. So let me just run this. See, append takes exactly one argument, 2 given. If I'm writing 300, same thing, right? So only one value it accepts. Even in the IDE, if you're trying to add something new value, immediately it is giving some suggestion, see? But only one value if it is, then it accepts. And also, there are new features it came actually. Say, now for example, whenever if you are getting some error, this all IDs also it implemented AI now. Say explain with the AI. These options are coming now. So explains with the AI. So still it is actually in, you know, like these people still not completely implemented, but they started it. So means what? Whenever if you get any error or bug something, then immediately it will actually highlight that, okay, it's not the fix and then you can write this way. Something like that. So it will keep on suggest that. See here, I can see this. It is trying to install. So what it is doing, it is doing this many things. Explaining runtime errors, generate code from descriptions, generate documentations, commit messages, multiple things it is actually trying to do. But it is actually what giving like a something trial 30 days, but after that need to pay. So there are different options now. So it is coming like this. Okay, fine. So we understood, okay, what is actually append method. Append it accepts only one value. Only one value we can append. But I want to append with append method itself multiple values. Let's say I have something new, 10, comma, 20, comma, 30, comma, 40. So these all the values I want to append to the my list. So what is the another way here? So we understood append it accepts only one value at a time. But I want to append multiple values. So the only solution you can use for loop. So for I in new. So means I am applying, see means my requirement here, I want to append 10, 20, 30, 40 after this 66 in my list. And now, What we observed, append it accepted only one argument. So that is the reason we are using combination with for loop. So now my list dot append of I. So what it means now? So we are reading each and every value from this new, and then we are appending to the my list one by one. So now if I check my list, you can see is all the values it appended 10, 20, 30, 40. But how using with for loop combination? So for loop, if you are using iteration for each and every value one by one. So first value it is taking here and then appending, and then next value, and then next value, and then next value. It will append like that. But instead of using like this, there is another method called extend method. So what this extend method? Okay, so in case if you want to append more values, more than one value, you don't need to write this for loop. We can simply use extend. But try to remember here, extend method internally it is using what? Internally it is using this two lines code only. What is that? For loop with the combination of append. So extend method internally it is using for loop with combination of append. So if it is really using for loop internally, if you want to append one value with extend method, directly if you provide that is not possible because it is using for loop. Now tell me, okay, you tell me this now. So I just want to check with you. Now say for example, there is my list. And I'm trying to write my list dot extend of 100. And then print my list. Now everyone tell me what will be the output here for this? I'm using extend method, extend of 100. So what will be the output here? Yes, please. It add 100 in the list. Okay. Output 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 66. Still, it is same existing list. Sirisha saying that. And Prasad said like it had 100 in the list. So extend method we are using to add a value at end of the list only. But what we just understood, extend internally it is using for loop with the combination of append. Extend internally it is using for loop with the combination of append. In that case, if I write for loop for I in 100 and then print I, what will be the output for this? Only for this code, what will be the output? Because internally it is doing the same here for extend. But of course it use append as well. But now tell me what is the output for this? Is it prints 1 to 100, something 1 to 99 like that, or only 100? What will be the output? So last session only we discussed this, right? Is it infinite loop? It's a iteration error. Okay. Yeah, so 100 is an integer value. For loop, it accepts only iterable objects. Int is not iterable. It will be error. Now, same thing, the same story I applied here in extend. Extend of 100. Internally, it is using for loop. Internally, it is doing like this. For I in 100 my list dot append of I. Exactly this code internally it is applying. But first for loop is checking this 100. 100 is not a iterable. See, there is a type error. Int object is not iterable. So why extend is giving that error? Because extend internally it is using for loop with the combination of append. So I told that, okay, these are the two lines you can write actually. But instead of that, there is a method in Python that is extend method. You don't need to write these two lines, you can simply use extend. But if you want to use extend, the backend logic is this. You need to know. For loop always it accepts what iterable. So with the combination of extend, if you want to provide some value, it should be iterable type. Same 100 you can provide, but should be through list. Now, okay, it is iterable object, then you can see the output 100 it append. Or now see, this is the one last example. You can use mylist dot extend of new print mylist. So it already appended all these values in the mylist. So hope this is clear now. Extend method. Okay, so what is clear? So clear is something only like I want to delete. So I'm writing like this mylist dot clear method. If you want to delete only values but not object, so object still it will be there. Maybe feature again if you want to add new values for the same object, and then you can just only clear the values. So clear means only just this all the values it actually removed, but object still it is exist. But it's an empty list now. So if you want to see this here, you can check with ID of my underscore list. And then after clearing the values also you can see here, these are. So you can add a new values maybe. That is the reason. And what is dot copy? So copy method we are using to copy the values. So why this is required? So what happens sometimes, for example, see, if I use my list and then my list 1 equal to my list and then print my list here and print my list 1, both actually values same. Both values same, but the problem is reference also same if you are using this way. See? So my list values, my list one, both are same since I used existing variable into new variable with equal to symbol. But it is copying including reference also same. If it is reference same, whenever if I'm trying to add something, one new value here, since it is using same reference, even my list one also same values now. My list one also same values now, 1000 all. right? But I don't want like this, which means what? I'm creating my list one, maybe some other purpose. Maybe I want to take these values back up. Whenever if I'm changing in my list, I don't want to reflect this in my list one. Then you can use dot copy here. So when you use a dot copy, only the values it is copying now, not the reference. Now, what is the advantage? If you are trying to append something in my list, it will not reflect in my list one. See here, it actually appended in my list, but I'm trying to print my list one. It's not appended. It is still using my list one. It still has what? The old values. Getting my point. I hope this is clear. Just type C in the chat box if it is clear. So this is the reason we are using copy method. Okay, and what is count? So count something, if you want to get the repeated value, means how many times this particular value repeated or number of occurrences we can say. Let's say I'm just writing 11 multiple times. So my list, you can use print my list dot count of 11. So this is just to display how many times this 11 is repeating. 3 times. That is the number of occurrences. And count is not total values count. Just one specific value, how many times it repeated if you want to check, then we use this. Extend we discussed. Index is already we know you can use index of then specific value. Let's say index of 22. It will give you what is the index number. That is actually 1. And what is insert? So insert we are using to insert a new value where somewhere if you want to insert, for example, see, so my list dot insert of, let's say after 22, I want to insert a new value. So see, it is not replacing anything. It is inserting a new value somewhere. After 22 means what? What is the index number? 11 index number is 0. 22 index number is 1. After 22 means index number 2. But currently index number 2 value is 33. It will not replace this 33, but it will move that 32 to the 33 to the next index immediately. So I'm just trying to write here. Let's say, for example, I want to insert Python here. So it is giving syntax, see, index and object, something like that. So I'm trying to print here now. Now I can see between 22 33, it inserted a new value, Python. So if you want to insert new values like this, you can insert. Pop, generally we are using to remove a last value. Can see this by default, it deletes like this, pop. So print my underscore list. Check here. So last value 66, it deleted. But using with pop, you can also delete the specific index. Let's say if I use 0, 0 value, it actually deletes now. So you can see pop of 0 I used. So 11 it deleted. And what is remove? So remove based on the specific value if you want to delete. Means like for example, see, I want to remove 55 from here. Then you can specify that remove of 55. It's a value base, not index base. So I want to delete 55 value. Okay, you can delete. Now see this 55 not there here. And sort and reverse. So sort and reverse, we are using just to display the values. Sort we are using to print the values in ascending order. Let's say I have these values again 10 something 2 4 99 like this. But it should be in the same data type whenever if you are applying sort method. So mylist dot sort, and you can see this here. Print mylist. The values in the values it will be in the sorted order, which is ascending order 2 4 10 11 like this. So try to understand this sort method it applied on directly in the original object. If you want to see the old values now, the index number 0 11, you'll not get that. So there are two things. Either if you want old values, you can take a backup using with copy method and you can write in another variable. Or if you don't want to disturb that original values using with sort method like this, there is a function called sorted. So what is that sorted method? It will not reflect in original object. You can apply this method and then you can write these sorted values in another list, that is a mylist1. So mylist1 it contains now sorted values. Mylist it is same old values only. So this is a mylist1 here, 2 4 this all. It is a sorted values ascending order. But mylist it's still same old values. So why we are using this? I don't want to disturb that original indexes or original order what I have in this current list. But if you apply sort method, immediately it is replacing that all the values in original object with ascending order. I don't want that. Then what is the solution? But still I need to sort. I need to get that ascending order list. What is the solution? You can apply sorted, which is a function. It's not at all related to list method. This is a function, common function. So that function I applied here to sort this list and then it sorted and then we assign to the another variable here. So this is how you can do if you don't want to touch the original object here. Okay, sort method, anyway it will sort in original object. So now what is reverse method? So reverse method you can see while is dot reverse. It will actually print in reverse order. It's not descending order, okay? It's a reverse order. So 99 4 2 like this. But if you apply sort and then sort it is sorting now in ascending order and then reverse it will display in descending order. Now this is a descending order here. So you have to decide whether you want to just print reverse order of the given list or you want to print something descending order. Then you can apply based on that. So I hope this is clear now all the list methods we discussed. So completely we understood end-to-end list concept, how to define list, how to access values, how to replace, and then all the list methods one by one. Hope this is clear now, right? Just type in the chat box, see if it is clear.